The Wizard of Oz is one of the most beloved fairy tales of all time, enchanting generations with its magic and wonder through countless adaptations. But the most iconic version, the 1939 film classic, holds dark behind-the-scenes secrets that shattered its innocent facade. The filming of this cinematic classic is even considered responsible for the death of Judy Garland, who portrayed Dorothy. So why was The Wizard of Oz considered a living nightmare? Well, what I'm about to tell you will absolutely shatter your childhood. The Wizard of Oz had many flaws behind the scenes. Probably the most common flaw was their poor use in costume and makeup design. Being made out of real lion fur, the costume for the Cowardly Lion weighed over 100 pounds. The makeup for the lion was also very fragile, allowing actor Burt Lahr to only have a liquid diet. Not to mention that the costume was unbearably hot, causing Burt to regularly faint on set from heat exhaustion. However, the lion's costume and makeup wasn't as bad as the Tin Man's. Buddy Ebsen was the original actor who was casted to play the Tin Man. The costume initially consisted of aluminum dust in his makeup. However, after having a near-fatal allergic reaction to the aluminum dust, Buddy was rushed to the hospital only 9 days after filming and spent time in an oxygen tent. Buddy grew so ill that he had to withdraw from filming, leading to his successor, Jack Haley, taking his place in the final production of the movie, but this time wearing a safer but still toxic aluminum dust. Margaret Hamilton, who played the Wicked Witch of the West, also had to wear toxic makeup, which was filled with high levels of copper. However, for Margaret, this was the least of her troubles. In the scene where the Wicked Witch of the West is in Munchkinland, the witch bursts into flames and disappears. The original trick for this effect was Margaret was supposed to disappear through a trapdoor, allowing her to escape the flames. However, there was one time where the trapdoor malfunctioned, causing Margaret to catch fire. This led to Margaret suffering from third-degree burns and not being able to film for 3 months. But the trapdoor was not the only work hazard on set. Because VFX weren't available at the time, studios had to get creative. That's why for the snowing scene, they had to use asbestos to capture the effect, which is a highly toxic carcinogen that can lead to lung cancer. They also used asbestos as stuffing for the Scarecrow's outfit to prevent him from catching fire. Probably one of the most shocking facts behind The Wizard of Oz were the actors who played the Munchkins. Many of the actors who played Munchkins worked as vaudeville performers or carnival freaks, so landing a gig in The Wizard of Oz was definitely a step up from the previous situation. The Munchkins were paid $50 per week, which is roughly over $1,000 in modern day. And with filming happening during the Great Depression, actors who played the Munchkins were ecstatic. However, many were shocked when it was discovered that the dog who played Toto was actually paid more than the actors who played the Munchkins. While the Munchkins were paid $50 per week, Toto was paid $125 per week, which is nearly $3,000 in modern day. Although there was a lot of pay discrepancy, the Munchkin actors were happy to just be in a place with people who were the same as them. They stayed at Culver City Hotel, where they apparently partied like there was no tomorrow. According to Judy Garland, the Munchkins were drunks.
Well, what the Munchkins do?
Well, they're
little dwarfs.
Tiny.
Yeah?
Yes.
Were they little kids or were they little men?
They were drunks. And they put them all in one hotel room. Not one room, one hotel in Culver City.
Yeah.
And they got smashed every night. And they'd pick them up in butterfly nets.
There's also a rumor that the Munchkins had their own freak-off parties. Producer Mervyn Leroy commented about the Munchkins shortly after the film wrapped. They had sex orgies in the hotel, and we had to have the police on just about every floor, he said. The Munchkins' dark and chaotic behavior was also reflected on set. In the original cut of The Wizard of Oz, when Dorothy and friends are about to embark on the yellow brick road, there's an ominous object swinging in the background, which almost resembles the shape of a hanging munchkin. The original cut was eventually taken out, with the hanging munchkin being replaced by a bird. In addition, Sid Luft, Judy Garland's former husband, wrote in his unfinished memoir about Judy that the Munchkins tried to grope Judy on set. They would make Judy's life miserable on set by putting their hands under her dress. One actor who played a munchkin even tried to ask Garland out when she was 16 and he was a grown man.
But one of them, who was about 40, a gentleman asked me for dinner, and I couldn't say, I don't want to go out. I can't because you're a Mrs. I just said, no, my mother wouldn't like him. Come on, bring your ma too, you know.
How big was he?
about 2 inches high.
Although this gross advance towards Judy is disturbing, that is just only a taste of the nightmares she went through. In 1935, Judy signed with MGM at the age of 13. MGM executives saw Garland's talent but pressured her to maintain a specific image. She was soon placed on a strict diet of chicken soup, black coffee, and cigarettes. During the filming of The Wizard of Oz, they made her wear a specific garment to appear younger. The director, Victor Fleming, called Judy fat and named her the pig with pigtails. Fleming also slapped Garland due to being unable to stop giggling in a scene with the Cowardly Lion. Garland was also touched inappropriately by studio executive Louis B. Mayer. Mayer would tell Garland to sing from her heart, and he would place his hand on her breast. Judy eventually told Mayer to stop, and he responded by crying and saying he loved her. Judy also mentioned that an unnamed studio executive tried to pursue her, but when she said no, this is how he responded. "Listen, you, before you go, I want to tell you something. I'll ruin you, and I can do it. I'll break you even if it's the last thing I do." And sure enough, Judy Garland's experience on The Wizard of Oz was the beginning of her demise. During the filming of The Wizard of Oz, at the young age of 16, Garland was introduced to amphetamines to maintain energy for the long filming hours and a strict diet. She was also given barbiturates to help her sleep. In 1947, Garland suffered from a breakdown, resulting in her first hospitalization. She experienced severe exhaustion, and her drug use began to impact her mental health and emotional stability. Then in 1950, after years of erratic behavior and missed filming days, MGM released Garland from her contract, citing her unreliable behavior. Garland struggled with depression, leading to increased reliance on prescription drugs. Garland eventually tried to make a comeback by touring, and also by appearing in the film A Star is Born. Garland's addiction began to worsen, exacerbated by personal and financial difficulties. She frequently relied on alcohol, along with her prescription drugs, further deteriorating her health. Garland performed her last concert in March of 1969 as she continued to struggle with addiction. Then on June 22, 1969, Garland was found dead in her London apartment at the age of 47, with her passing attributed to an accidental barbiturate overdose. The horrors that Garland went through is the exact reason why child stardom shouldn't exist. MGM was known to keep its cast's hardships under wraps, sanitizing media reports, and maintaining a family-friendly image for the film's promotion. These controversies revealed the difficult conditions and questionable ethics that were common in early Hollywood productions, contrasting with the film's whimsical, lighthearted image. Although The Wizard of Oz is considered a timeless classic, the output of the film was not worth the horrors that the cast had to suffer.